What's up, FBN-Nation? Today is the day that I have to get my Audi serviced because I've never gotten it serviced. And they said all the service records were up to date, yet I have minor problem in engine. So, we about to be broke! Just a lot of broke! So, we going up to Audi probably in about an hour, most likely, but I gotta work from a dealership. I'm upset, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to this pain. R.I.P. wallet. How many miles? It's like 71,000. Oh God. There it is. I love that. Oh my God. Yeah, remind me what I'm driving. Oh yeah. Multimedia interface. I have no service lights on. So I'm hoping that this bill is gonna be very not a lot. Jesus Christ. Please, for the love of God. And they also had to troubleshoot my AC a little bit because all of a sudden it's now starting to blow consistently cold. But before it was cold out of this vent, but not cold out of any of the other vents besides that one kind of, and then that one extremely. So now I'm getting cold air all the way throughout, and I want to make sure that whatever was stuck in there or died in there isn't in there. And hopefully that's not expensive. Also, if we get pulled over today, because Seminole County sucks, oh yeah, wrap it up. Gotta keep one of those on deck. I didn't go with you guys around the instrument cluster or this set of beautiful buttons right here, but now that I love driving this thing and I understand what all this shit means, this is for Magna-Ride suspension. This is for Spanish, if you want to turn that off. This is to say that you're in trouble. This is for the wing. We're just going to depress that because, you know, constant flex mode. This is your parking sensors. You can actually turn that on while driving, and if anybody gets near your fucking car, it'll activate the sensors and it'll beep at you. But it's really annoying when you're sitting in a parking space and you forget to turn it off after you've already adjusted, because it'll sit there and just do this all day. And then obviously God mode, and that is pretty much that. Everything else is pretty standard. So I'm really understanding the pain of vlogging, having to have your arm fully extended. You would think that a selfie stick would help, but I don't have one of those, nor do I care for one. So ownership of my Audi R8 so far, since I bought it, I'll put a link in the description below if you haven't seen that video of me buying it. It has been amazing. It has been everything that I thought it was going to be. From the head turning, to the sounds, to the speed, to everything. It has been just an absolute delight. Now, I've been dreading this moment of having to possibly do some unforeseen maintenance to this car, because I knew it was going to be expensive. But that's the reason why we bought it. Just like when I purchased all my other fast cars, or what I deem to be fast, and or very stylish, whatever. I mean, I've owned a Mercedes SLK 230, 98. Then I went to the Evo, right? Because that broke, and I stripped 3 head bolts because I was an idiot and didn't think that I just didn't know what a temperature gauge was. The car overheated, and yeah, so I was a broke Lance Corporal at the time, and I had to figure out how to work on cars on my own. And just by looking up stuff, Google wasn't really that big of a thing then, even though you could find some guides, but nothing to really tell you how to wrench or how to do anything of the sort. So that's what I ended up doing. I took it apart at the Camp Pendleton base hobby shop with some guidance from some real mechanics who actually kind of gave me some insight on what I was doing wrong or how to proceed. But they could only give me guidance. They couldn't physically work on the car themselves. So it was just nutty. So first engine replacement, Mercedes SLK 230, a 98. Nightmare. I had to get a custom-made 18-star Napa tool, and that was for the head bolts, and I thought I was golden. I finally had the money, my last $86 to go get this tool, and we put it on one of the head bolts, and immediately we try to untorque it, and we strip the whole thing out. Now, I got probably 6 head bolts out successfully, and I think 4 of them stripped, which then having to take that to a machine shop and all this other shit and having all these other worries. So we scrapped that idea, and I actually bought a crate motor. And back in the day, there was this online shop, I cannot find it now for the life of me, that just sells motors, car parts, anything that you need. And I think they were based out of like Illinois or something like that. And I was able to actually find a engine with a supercharger to an 98 SLK 230. I was able to actually find one for $2,700. So yeah, took a loan out for that, and it took me forever to pay that thing off. Because not only having a car payment to a car that doesn't work, it's nice to have, mechanical loans out just to get it to work. So the car finally worked. And then all of a sudden the transmission decided to start giving way. I did my own transmission flush, not knowing how to do a transmission flush on a vehicle before. Sorry, I accidentally downshifted way too much there. Yeah, it was just a nightmare. And it still, till this day, had transmission issues. And I sold it to one of my best friends that didn't know that randomly it just wouldn't go into drive. Sorry, Rajan. You know who you are. Anyway, so that doesn't even get to the crux of my car issues in the past. Alright? My Evo was the most custom made, custom built, temp fixed car ever. Okay? I literally used nothing but JB Weld and high temp RTV to fix all my exhaust leak problems, turbo manifold problems, anything. The only thing that wasn't JB welded together was part of the exhaust, the turbo back exhaust that I got from NVIDIA, because for whatever reason, the downpipe that came from the turbo, the little O-ring thing, wouldn't pop on. So, fuck it. When in doubt, create a seal and high temp RTV, bro. That's what it was. So I guess my most horrendous story with that was most horrendous story with the Evo was my steering wheel fell into my lap one day because the grooves of the forks of whatever the hell that holds the steering column together, one of those square brackets that a V bracket went into snapped. So, me getting creative with JB Weld, I found a position in which I would like my steering wheel, and I glued it up there. And this is way after I had already blown the first motor got a crate motor from King's Performance in California. Shout out to those assholes, because fuck you. Their oil galleys in the crate motor that they sold me were all messed up. There was low compression in cylinder number 3. They told me that nothing was wrong with the motor and that it should work fine, bolt right in, and everything was good. I had no time to sit there, pull the motor out, figure out that it was shitty when we were trying to freaking do the timing, and then take it back out and send it off back to King's and asking for my money back. No. Au contraire, mon frère. We figured a way to N-word rig the timing to where we got it to function, and I drove it like that for a year and a half. Now, when I say I drove it like that for a year and a half, I drove it like that for 2 months out of the year and a half that was actually drivable. So I was thinking about getting tunes. I thought I fixed all my problems because nothing too crazy went on, and turns out I had a lot more issues than I thought. So that's how that worked. And I since sold it to a guy that really wanted an Evo. He bought it for 16 grand, knowing that I did some modifications, you know, the aftermarket exhaust manifold, NVIDIA turbo back exhaust, and had no idea when he finally got underneath that motor and wrenched on it. I'm the reason why a lot of people do not buy cars and don't get them inspected before they purchase them. Because, yeah, one day I guess he was racing and the steering wheel fell back into his lap. I don't know if he won, and he was just like, yeah, beating on the steering wheel. But I knew not to beat on my own steering wheel because, yeah, it's not a good time. So then he eventually had to pull the motor apart. Felt like the timing in the tune was off. And then he hit me up on Facebook, which then I since blocked him because, you know, snooze you lose, buyer's remorse. It's not a lemon. It worked. You drove it. Suck a dick. Anyway, so yeah, he bought my Evo. And the third gear, getting that car into third gear was a fucking nightmare, and it would always grind. And I thought I just sucked at shifting, but apparently when I bought a new transfer case, a rebuilt transfer case from Shep Trans, who specializes in Evo transfer cases, I don't know what happened. No, actually, it wasn't Shep Trans. Nope, the transfer case was amazing. Sorry, Shep Trans, you were amazing. I took it to Transmission World after my transmission bell housing cracked and oil leaked everywhere, driving from California on this jalopy of a nightmare of a car, and I didn't know what to do. So I took it to this place called Transmission World on East Colonial Drive in Orlando, Florida. You sucky pieces of Schmidt. There was no other transmission shops that I could think of or that I could find on Google that would be able to fix my car. So they, swear to God, they fixed it. Ended up piercing the rear seal of the transfer case. So the transfer case wine came back, and I don't know what the hell they did with my gear synchros, but it never did that before. And apparently they were supposed to replace it with another Evo 8 bell housing. It never did, or did something fucked up. I should have sued them back in the day, but I had no money and I needed a fucking car to get from A to B. This is why I will never, again, mess around or work on a car that I rely on a daily basis, because that was just freaking murder. All right, that shit was just not fun for me. So, lessons learned. We went from, you know, a Chrysler 200 to another Mercedes. I had a SLK 320 2010. Never wrenched on it. Car ran good, but got in a relationship, girl had some kids. I was into country music, still into country music, so I decided to trade that in for a Chevy Silverado, because, you know, you can't transport more than 2 people in a hardtop convertible Mercedes-Benz. So, the Chevy. truck life was good. You know, I modified it, jacked it up a little bit to make sure that it reflected my correct penis size, and things were good. Until I got bored, and I needed to get over previous relationships. So, and all that truck had was bad memories. So, I decided, as I got promoted at my job, to get an Audi R8. And I promised myself that I would do none of the maintenance on this thing. Because y'all like that red racing stripe though, huh? That red racing stripe is pretty official, I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking about doing that to my car. Even though it ain't a V10. And that rear diffuser on the black one, oh my God, the spider looks so nice. One of these days when I grow up, get an even bigger boy job, or open up a business, or sell my soul to a devil, whatever I gotta do to upgrade to the V10. I am done trying to be the unqualified mechanic, guess working on how shit comes apart or shit goes together, and then my car being down for forever. Not only am I done with that, I'm definitely not doing it to a mid-engine vehicle such as this with all this power. So, unfortunately, I was a big proponent of doing your own work because, you know, dealerships could fuck you and you could save a lot of money. But at this echelon in my life, I'm gonna have to just spend the money. Just spend the money. Just spend the money. And we'll see how this goes. So, that's a little bit of my car history and car stories. It goes way more in depth than that because the issues that I had with that Evo were just chaotic, just paramount. It was ridiculous. Ruined a relationship. I didn't have 2 quarters to rub together, and if so, I was using those quarters to pay for tax on more high temp RTV. But at any rate, I gotta get back to driving. All joking around, I finally got the bill for my 2008 Audi R8, and well, I wanna cry. Apparently the front strut is fully out of goop, so it needs to be replaced. They said $3,500 for parts and labor. Then 2 2 gear shift control modules, whatever the hell Audi calls them, apparently are messed up. 2nd to 3rd and 3rd to 4th. So that'll be another $2,658, labor included. Roughly almost $6,500 that I don't have. So, what did we do at Audi today? Well, we got our AC recharged for about almost $200 because I don't give a damn if it rides rough or if I miss a shift. At least I'm not going to be burning my ass up in this Florida sun. It's all I care about. And all that stuff could work it out later. So now I need to find some adjustable coilovers, replace all 4 of them, because what's the point of just paying almost $4,000 for the passenger side right strut and then eventually having to do that to all of them because they're all eventually going to break down, right? But I ain't got them finances right now. This is what it's like having a puppy all day, every day. Trying to give him as much attention as I can because he's about to be in the cage for 5 hours. Because Daddy has to go get his car fixed. Hopefully not for 5 hours. So, FBN-Nation, this is life right now. This is life right now. Totally. You're a little boy. Little boy. Wake up. You just Never wants to wake up, and he always nibbles on me. He's about to go to sleep. I love this little guy. Ow!